it's Sam. So today I'm going to be doing a review of the Hourglass Immaculate Liquid Powder Foundation. This is mattifying and oil-free. It was in a different packaging. Let me see if I have it. I don't see it right off the bat. Anyway, so this is what it actually used to look like, which I have had before. This is the new packaging, so it's in this little squeezy tube now, which I actually prefer. I think it's a lot less heavy, it's easy to travel with, you can just squeeze out what you want. So I actually do like the packaging now because it was glass before and it was quite heavy. This is $56, so it's definitely pricey. They sent me sand, nude, and golden. It's supposed to be full and medium coverage, so it's saying that you can build it up to full. It's supposed to be good for sensitive, combination, and oily skin. It's a matte finish, and it says it's a breakthrough liquid to powder foundation formula that absorbs oil, camouflages imperfections, and delivers a long-lasting velvet matte finish. And the range features 6 new shades, bringing it up to 22 shades to choose from. So there's definitely a lot of shades for you to choose from. This foundation works to control oil and is shown to reduce the appearance of blemishes, pores, and acne scars for naturally matte complexion, perfecting coverage at last. Over time, it's supposed to help your skin. What? Expect miracles. It says 100% reported an improvement in overall skin appearance and skin smoothness. 83% reported a decrease in oil production and the need for touch-ups. 80% reported a visible improvement in the appearance of acne scars. 70% reported visible improvement of the appearance of pores. 63% reported a reduction in the appearance of breakout severity. Is this the foundation for me? Lightweight texture with a long-wearing velvet matte finish, oil-free, non-comedogenic formula, won't clog pores, cashmere kaolinite, I don't know how you say that, clay, works all day to control oil, safe for sensitive, blemish-prone skin. Formula is paraben-free, gluten-free, cruelty-free, and vegan. It's saying to apply it with their Hourglass No. 2 foundation brush or a retractable kabuki brush. Buff product onto the face. Work quickly in small sections as Immaculate immediately transforms from liquid to powder as you blend. As you see me apply this, you will see me trying to use it with the Beauty Blender. It does not work, guys. The Beauty Blender is not your friend with this foundation. You definitely do need to use a brush. I don't have the Hourglass brush, so I ended up using the Skin Smoothing Complexion Heavenly Skin from IT Cosmetics. And that seemed to work a lot better than a Beauty Blender. So next you're going to see me applying the foundation and kind of like my first thoughts, and it's just like my honest opinion, guys. Okay, so as you can see, I've got some pretty good scarring going on. I also have like 2 active breakouts. That's all scarring. So I've got a lot of scarring going on, so there's a lot to cover. Joy! That is golden right there. Next we have nude. That one is nude. Oh, just kidding. Sand is darker than golden. That is gold. Oh, sorry. That's sand. That's golden. And that's nude. So I feel like nude is probably going to be the best for me. I like the fact that it just squeezes out. I feel like that's very convenient. It feels a little thicker. I'm going in. I don't know about this because once you start like trying to blend it in, it just kind of all goes into the sponge. I wonder if I should use a brush. I got a foundation brush. Let's try it with the foundation brush because I don't know about this. That's interesting. Do you see how matte this side is and how glowy this side is? So it seems like when you use it with a Beauty Blender, you actually lose, it like makes it super matte, which is interesting. The coverage is definitely better if you use a brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue using a brush for this. And I feel like you do have to kind of like stipple it on, because when you kind of brush it, it definitely loses its coverage. So I wouldn't say that this is an automatic full coverage. I would definitely say that it is a buildable coverage, but you can easily shear it down if you want to as well. But you can see how much better now that this side is looking now that I'm using the brush. The nude color seems to be a pretty good match for me. I still feel like I'm really struggling to cover up some of the stuff that I want to cover though, guys. Like, I feel like it's taking a lot of effort to kind of like hide the discoloration. Like, do you see how when I just brush it on, it's like barely there? Like, you actually do have to use quite a bit of product, which that means you're gonna have to spend more money because you're gonna go through it a lot quicker. Right off the bat, like literally, you are matte. There is just no denying that whatsoever. This coverage is not my favorite, I've got to be honest. I feel like if you already have a great skin and you just want to even out and mattify, then you'd probably love this. But as far as like if you have issues like I do, like I still look really dark underneath my eyes as well, and I did have to use a lot of product. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my concealer on now. I'm interested. I will say it does feel amazing on the skin. Like, it feels really smooth. I do want to see how my concealer blends into it. It might actually be like a really great like beach foundation if you don't want to like powder up and spend like a bunch of time. You know, some of us do actually have to wear makeup to the beach because we're not comfortable with our zits all over our face and having to go out in public like that. But sometimes, like, you don't want to have to do your whole dang routine just to go to the beach, because that's super annoying. So it might be good just to put on, just to even out your skin tone if you're going to the beach, you know, like if you're not super concerned, because you don't really have to powder. Like, I don't feel like you do at all. I'm going to go ahead and blend this out with my beauty blender and then see, because I feel like there's so much darkness underneath my eyes still. Oh dear. It's already looking so bad in my smile lines. Like, my smile line, when you get up close, looks all crepey and weird. I don't like that. It looks kind of cruddy around my nose too. It's almost like it just kind of like sits on top of the skin versus blending in, if that makes sense. Oh, you can see like all the pores. Oh, I don't like this. It looks fine on my forehead as far as texture goes, but where I added the concealer, that is not looking fresh. It looks so caked up, guys. Oh gosh, I can't even. You guys tell how like cakey that looks right here? Like where I have any texture or lines, it looks super caked on, and like around my nose, hopefully you guys will be able to tell this. Look, it's gotten all weird where I've like tried to put the concealer there. If you disrupt it like after your first layer, it gets all weirdness. Maybe if I try to brush it away or something. Ugh. It's looking kind of crepey underneath my eyes. My nose looks terrible. And the more you try to blend it out, the bigger the pores look. Okay, so the brush is definitely better. I wouldn't even bother with the Beauty Blender, guys. The Beauty Blender is just not good with this. Because now that I'm using the brush, my pores are diminishing again. But my skin looks really old. It looks like I've added 8 layers over here, and I haven't. I'm just trying to like, oh gosh, I look like I'm so tired. It's like all getting stuck into my fine lines and wrinkles under there. I'm gonna finish my makeup, and then I'll come back, and hopefully I will have been able to salvage it, because I am not feeling fresh right now. Like, this is not looking good to me. I have to say, this is not friendly with wrinkles whatsoever. I feel like if you have any kind of like wrinkles or lines or aging, it's not going to be your best friend. But I do think that if you love a good matte foundation that is going to give you that super matte look, you will like this. So just keep that in mind, because it is definitely settling into my wrinkles and making them stand out a little bit more. Now that I've put the rest of my makeup on, it is actually looking very pretty. I think I still got the look that I wanted to. It just seems to me like when you first apply it, it just doesn't really give me that like wow coverage factor or even smoothness factor that I was hoping for right off the bat. It looks good, but it's not as good as what I normally use. So my forehead, I still have a lot of pigmentation that is peeking through. I still have, I mean, my forehead wrinkles are like definitely showing way more than they usually do. And my smile lines, it's looking very crepey around here. And then where I do have some breakouts, it's definitely looking a lot more textured than it normally does. Normally it looks a lot smoother, and it's starting to kind of like break apart and crepe already around here. So I am gonna say, unfortunately, a no for me right off the bat. This isn't something that I would feel comfortable wearing all the time, all day, because I feel like my forehead wrinkles and my smile lines just look really bad. And normally, like, my forehead wrinkles and smile lines look really good at the beginning of the day. So if they already start looking like this, that means towards the end of the day, they probably are gonna look even worse. And I'm self-conscious of them, so I don't want to like bring any more attention to them than they already get. I would stay clear if you have any kind of wrinkles. I know that this is supposed to be like helpful for acne prone skin, but it does kind of make the texture of your any kind of breakouts look worse when it's over the top of it. And the coverage for me, they say it's full, but you have to work really hard to get full coverage. I would say it's a medium coverage right off the bat, but you really do have to like stipple on the foundation and apply quite a lot of product in order to get that full coverage that they're claiming it to be. So unfortunately for me, this is a pass. I would not recommend it if you have aging skin. If you have any kind of like wrinkles, lines, it's not going to work for you. And if you do have texture on your skin, I wouldn't say it's the best. It kind of enhanced my pores when I used the beauty blender, so definitely don't use the beauty blender. I would definitely recommend using the brush. So I think this is going to be good for someone who does like a really, really matte finish and who does have younger looking skin. I think there's a lot of people that are gonna like this foundation because it is so matte and it is probably gonna control the oil really, really well. We're gonna see. I'll come back and we'll check out throughout the day if it does what it claims as far as controlling the oil. I will say, like, when you touch it, it does feel very silky on the skin. Like, it feels like really smooth and it doesn't feel like you're getting a bunch of foundation on you. I recommend to use it with their primer, which is the Veil Mineral Primer. This also has SPF 15, which is nice. However, I wanted to try it with my normal routine that I always do. So I just used my normal daily moisturizer with SPF. That's what I've been using lately to just use as my primer. So I wanted to do it exactly the same way that I always do, so that I had a true test of what I thought, because you never know if you're trying out a new primer, if that's what's going to create something that you're not usually used to. But this is what the actual primer looks like. And let me feel what the primer feels like, because I don't know. Ooh, it's really white. So that's what it looks like. And then oh, it has that silicone-y feel and it's very bluish, if you can tell. So I don't think I would like that primer anyway, because it has a really silicone-y feel and my skin does not work well with silicone-y primers. So I'm glad I didn't use that actually. But if you like a silicone-y, like really skin smoothing primer, you probably would like that one. But I feel like on my skin it just doesn't do very well. It creates too much slip and then my foundation just like melts off my face. It's now 10:02, so this is what it looks like at 10:02. So you can see it does look nice. Like overall my makeup looks really pretty right now. From far, like when you're far away, you're like, oh, she looks really good, like her makeup looks beautiful. It's just when you get close up, you're like, dang, those wrinkles, like they just appear more than what they usually look like with my regular foundation routine. So especially the forehead is just looking blotchy and it's not covered at all. My forehead looks so bad and I feel like I've been working so hard with all these expensive creams trying to make them to go away, and this foundation just like enhanced every single line there is on my face. Even my under eyes, I was like, oh, I didn't know I was aging under there. Like, it was stressful. This is not obviously a foundation geared towards wrinkles. It's a foundation geared towards oil. So if it does its job, then it's still going to be a good foundation. It's just not a good foundation for me because I have wrinkles. 10:05 at night. So I've now had it on for What time was it this morning? I can't remember. Did I say 10 or 11? I cannot remember, but it was somewhere around that time. Okay, so it has definitely broken apart. My forehead pretty much looks like there's like no foundation on it whatsoever. Around the nose, it looks really bad. Like the pores are looking pretty terrible, and then like most of my nose, there's no foundation on. It looks really, really like broken apart and almost crepey and like cakey around here. It's super oily, like super duper oily. So in general, I'm gonna say no on this one, guys. I'm gonna get up close for you in a sec. Halfway through the day, I felt like it looked decent, but I still noticed my wrinkles a lot more than my regular foundation. It's not something that I would want to wear again, and I was fine. Like, we went out and about today. Like, it's not like I was like super self-conscious, like, oh my gosh, I look terrible, but I wouldn't choose to wear it again. I didn't feel quite as confident with my skin as I normally do. I don't think it does a really great job of controlling oil, because I did feel like, especially like in the T-zone right here, I was quite oily still. I'm actually a lot oilier with this than I am with my normal Estee Lauder Double Wear. I mean, it still looked halfway through the day, it looked decent. I'm not gonna say I looked like a greasy. There was definitely an oil, like a dew to my skin, like my chin and around here definitely had a little bit more oil than usual. But as far as it like transferring or breaking apart, like I did definitely notice that like halfway through the day. So I didn't touch up at all. Like, this is exactly what my face looks like. As far as the coverage, like the coverage stayed well on this bottom part of my face, but for some reason the forehead is like, it doesn't even look like I've covered anything. It looks like that's completely gone and it's all gathered in between here. So I'm gonna get up real close so that you guys can see. So hopefully you guys are gonna be able to tell this. I don't know if you guys can see on my forehead, but it just doesn't look like there was any foundation on there. I mean, I was wearing a hat, which could have wiped it off, but my normal foundation never disrupts my normal foundation. The hat doesn't disrupt it at all. If you can see here around my nose, like, see how it's all like, ooh, yucky? It's like worn off my nose completely here, then it's all kind of gathered over here. My pores look really large. This side of my nose, like, there's no foundation. Like, this looks all grossy jose. My wrinkles, it's like settled into super bad. This looks really heavy over here and kind of like crepey. My chin, the bottom of it is kind of worn off. It kind of looks like the best over here on this side of my face. Like, that still actually looks really nice. But as far as like anywhere that I have oil, it just, and wrinkles, it just broke apart. Like, I'm super greasy right around here. So I don't know about that, my friends. I don't know about it. I don't think that it did a great job at controlling my oil, because I'm definitely a lot oilier than I usually am. And as far as it transferring or like wiping off or like moving on your face, it definitely does move on your face. If you have normal combination, I think you'd really like it. I think if you are oily though, this is not like a look that I would want to end off my day with. I think normally I look a lot better at the end of the day with my normal foundation routine than I do with this. Like, I would be a little bit embarrassed if I like ran into someone looking like this, because I don't look good at all. Unfortunately for me, this is a thumbs down. It did not work for my skin type. Doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. Do your research when it comes to foundation reviews. I think that is the biggest thing that I can recommend to you, is doing your research and getting other people's opinions, because like everything, not everyone's skin is the same. Not everyone's needs and wants are the same with the foundation. So just because it doesn't work for me doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to work for you, especially if you have a different skin type. You might love it. However, for my specific skin type, which is oily, acne prone, with wrinkles and pigmentation and a lot of like scarring to cover, I wouldn't recommend it. I hope you guys found that helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and give me a thumbs up if you found this helpful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!